Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc Podcast. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and wow, what an unbelievable conversation I just had with Alex Severe. He lives in Long Island. He's doing business in Virginia. And listen to this, from 14 to 19, all he did was construction. He worked for his brother at his construction company. He was digging holes every single day. Then he got a job with a utility company, but he still had that passion to find great real estate opportunities, to be a real estate entrepreneur, and his journey is absolutely incredible. From his parents migrating here in 1987 from Haiti to where he's at today. Strap in. This is an unbelievable podcast with Alex Severe. Alex, so excited to have you in studio. I wanted to start out giving a little bit of background. It's 1987, okay? What's going on with your family?
1987.
Yep.
That's when my parents migrated over here from Haiti.
From Haiti.
Yes.
With your brother?
With one of my brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your other two siblings stayed in Haiti?
In Haiti.
And eventually made it over?
Eventually made it over.
But huge change.
Drastic change.
Right.
Drastic change.
And so they just saw the opportunity and jumped for it.
Yeah. I'll say yes, but I think it's a drastic one.
Right.
I think it's a drastic opportunity jump. I don't think much people even make those type of opportunity jumps these type of days anymore.
Right.
Maybe different state, different country.
Yeah.
You know?
So is your dad is he an entrepreneur? Did he come over here and just find some jobs to do and then start building? What's the background of your family?
So my dad's story is actually it's actually kind of unique because his story is the poor man's story. Okay. Right? My dad actually comes from, when he explains to me his house, like he'll explain to him the house to me like with his arms.
Yeah.
And then say like, yeah, this is where all my brothers and sisters stayed, and his father was a farmer. Okay. Specifically in coffee beans. Okay. My mom was more so, she lived in a, more so upper echelon neighborhood. Her father was a businessman, and I think that's where the spirit definitely comes down. I think my ancestors definitely weren't playing about making sure that stayed in our lineage, because all three of my brothers, all three of my parents' children are, my father has one more son over in Chile. Yeah. He just came over from there, and I love that brother, so I got to mention him. But out of my mother and father's kids, all three of us are entrepreneurs.
Really?
Yes.
What businesses?
My oldest brother is, like I told you, started construction when I was 14 years old. Right. So how did I do that? Who's hiring a 14-year-old, right? My brother. Yeah. So he started with his pickup, and scaled up, pickup, van, multiple jobs, multiple guys, and I worked for him since that time and watched him grow. But now he's also ventured off. He's down in Georgia now. He's in Georgia, and he actually runs a different side of the business now. I think it's mainly restoration. Yeah. So that's more insurance jobs instead of just doing, running to customers. It's really, you just really restoring floods, fire, things of that nature.
So you started construction at 14?
14 years old.
And do you still do it now?
Nope.
No.
No.
And why make the change?
So I didn't make the change. What actually happened was, to give the backstory, is from 14 to 19, I worked for my brother, right? And I'm seeing how everything's going, and I'm like, all right. And I see my brother's the boss. This is who he trusts on the job. This is the amount of money that we're making, right? But my brother's company isn't as big as these other companies, right? Nothing towards him, but I'm just like, these not as big as these other companies. So how much more money could you be making over there, right? Mm-hmm. So I instantly, and it was actually a blessing because he gave me my resume. So that resume, I took it to the bigger companies. Well, I'm in a municipality, and I started working for a water authority. So I worked for the water authority of Western Nassau County on Long Island as utility work. I was even the foreman. I ran my own job site, backhoe, dump truck, my helper, so.
And you were saying digging a lot of holes.
We on the daily basis, you're digging a hole.
Right.
Because we had 3 crews. And there's one backhoe for those 3 crews.
Yeah.
There's not 2 backhoes.
Yeah.
So if there's a hydrant going in, you need the backhoe for the hydrant because we got to hoist it down. So there's nothing happening. You got to dig.
Yeah. By the way, guys, for everybody listening and watching, Alex really started taking wholesaling real estate seriously in 2023. Listened to it for a long time. Took some time to really get educated on it.
Well, 2016.
2016 you started. You did your first deal in 2023.
Yes.
But since then, he's done 20 deals. So I want to set the table there because we'll get into the real estate stuff. But I think that it's such an incredible story when you get the opportunity to see the transition from going from a 9 to 5 every single day that you could do forever. You could do really well.
Yeah.
You can stay in a really nice financial position there.
It's actually
and
recommended.
Right. And go up the ladder. And I assume that there's probably some sort of unions that you get some sort of pension and be taken care of for a long time.
Medical.
But you decided not to do that. So that's what the heart of this podcast is really about. Like, why? Why not just stay in that, get the pension, but grow up there, do all that, live a nice, comfy life, raise the kids, do all that. Why get into real estate? Why take the risk? Because there's people listening right now, Alex, that are like, oh, if I just get started, I know that I could be good at this, but I've got all these responsibilities and I've got all these other things going on and my schedule looks like this and I don't know how I can do it. So you're such an inspiration for this, and I want to walk down that path.
Can I become a bigger one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't walk away. I was fired.
Okay.
So Water Authority of Western.
So you had no
Nassau
choice.
Water of Western Nassau County. Well, you still have a choice.
Yeah, but sometimes listen, and this is what I think of when I hear fired as opposed to downsize, Alex, is because it's like being in a relationship with somebody you're not going to end up with. You're just like, at some point you're just like, you know what, it's a little bit nagging, it's a little bit, but you're like, oh man, I don't want to break up with them. You know what I mean? I want to. I'll just start acting a little bit, like I'm not going to put in 100% effort into it. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got to let you go. Or the other person dumps you, type of thing. You're like, yeah, okay, weight's lifted.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's your situation, but
no. Well, my situation is this. This is why I really just wanted to be more of an inspiration. The truth is this: I was going through hardships in life, right? Which I think all men go through.
Sure.
I think that's one of the biggest problems today, right? Is that everybody's going through hardships in life, especially, and they don't feel like they know who they could go talk to, and I felt like that too at times.
Yeah.
Right. But what ended up happening is that I started doing nothing drastic, but I made a wrong decision, right? Made a wrong decision, and a supervisor said, okay, we don't want to, have him here no more. Yeah. So it's okay. That's how life goes, right? At the same time, I had many people who from that same industry who looked out for me so I could move on to my next phase, which is why I'm saying you literally do have the choice. Because, when a lot of times when people get fired, you think they don't have the next job lined up right there. Yeah. They're working with people, they're in the industry, they have it lined up. They could go get another one. You understand? And that's what I did. I went to Banker Construction. I went to a bigger construction company where I was getting paid $30 an hour at Water Authority. I started getting paid $48 an hour at the Banker Construction. Right? And I did better labor there. I did asphalt, did water, and I did some telephone. And I worked in the Hamptons. Yeah. All the way, deep on, on the fork of Long Island. So it's like, hey, everything happens for a reason. And honestly, it tailored my mind more and more and more and more to the point where that's why I have the 20 deals that I have. Right. Right? Yeah. Because of those hardships. Every single time I said, why me? The more I think you have to ask yourself, why me, is the more you get a chance to get better. Sure. Love it. Bitter or better. Yeah. And I just want to get better. So that's who I am. So it's like, I just wanted to express that because I know that there's a lot of people go through that situation. Like, okay, somebody could go through my situation and they get the next job. Hey, yeah, I'm picture perfect. I got the next job. I make all the money in the world. And the guy who got fired, he's like, well, I'm not that picture perfect guy. Well, nah, bro, I got fired. Everybody turned their back on me. Family, friends, jobs, it's all good.
Yeah.
You put your head down, stay with God, and do the right thing, and you'll be fine.
Love it. So then how'd you commit to real estate? How did you find real estate? How did that enter your life?
2016, I become a utility worker. I'm 19 years old. I work for a year, remember? And I'm like, all right, this doesn't make much sense to me. My back is, it makes sense to me at the age I was at because I'm making good money, I'm young. But I said, how about the guys that I work next to, though, that have kids, a mortgage, and I still asking, and they come into work and say, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? And asking guys for money and still scrambling. I'm like, and why was my dad at certain times scrambling? Why was my friends' dads at certain times scrambling? So it's like, why don't we have all the things that we say that we want? And it's so funny because I want to say a quick thing. All the friends that I had that's families was in real estate, they always had a little bit more.
Sure.
But, to go back on Kilter, I mainly wanted to just stay focused on
making extra money,
making extra money,
finding another way to add to it. You know what I mean? So
because at the end of the day, you got to understand, right? There's a certain amount of money that's gonna come in from your 9 to 5, and when that caps out, if your bills are to that number, you're living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, the stats are there. I mean, you could Google it right now. January through October, average American is paying income tax and interest on their debts, whether that be car payments,
and then the taxes are twice.
I
think there's a secret behind the taxes. I think it gets a little deeper than that.
I mean, the disposable income for the average American family is only 2 months worth of income. You know what I mean? So what do you do with that? Well, you want some entertainment and you want to be able to put some away for a rainy day, but it doesn't really allow you to build wealth.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
So you have to find other ways. You have to go out and you have to provide more value to the marketplace than you do in a typical 9 to 5. That's just the facts. And so it's just how are you going to do it? Are you going to do it through real estate? Are you going to do it through some other company? Are you going to, you know what I mean?
So not to cut you off, right?
Yeah.
Not to cut you off at all. I'm happy that you said that. Like, what are you going to do? So what I did was I went to YouTube and I was on YouTube and I'm like, all right, this is 2016, by the way.
Yeah.
I learned as much as I needed to, and it was because I found Max Maxwell, right? So I found Max Maxwell. I was going through YouTube. I found him, and he was like, "I made an extra $10,000 this month." And I said, whatever he's doing, I have to learn how to do it. And it was wholesaling real estate, right? And I went on for 7 years. For 7 years, asking people in New York. Nothing towards my New Yorkers, and there's plenty of people in New York who wholesale, so nothing towards my New Yorkers. I love all of you. I love to do business with you, right? But nobody wanted to do business with me. Even the people who do business with me today, they didn't want to do business with me.
Why?
They're just like, New York has this mirror. Has this big cloud in front of real estate. And in front of that cloud is all the real estate agents and brokers.
Yeah.
They don't even know anything about the title attorneys.
Got it.
Until I wasn't only thing I knew about real estate was there's a picture with somebody with their name, their brokerage, and that's the only thing I knew about real estate. Right. And I think that's for the most people in New York, because that's literally the mirror there.
Yeah.
That investment side, knowing you could go and walk in and have a conversation, and it's not there. So when I did that, and I'm younger than everybody too, because I'm currently 28. So remember, this is 7 years ago, 21, right? So they're just probably like saying, Alex is crazy. He's making some good money
Oh,
now.
they're just like, he's going to waste my time. He's going to try to pick my brain. He's going to just like, I'm moving too fast. I got to go out. I got to find deals. I got to sell deals. I got to do my agent things. I got to shake hands with people that own a bunch of real estate, that type of thing. So
Wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it for them. They just didn't see the light in it. And honestly, a lot of them, no. I'll give you another side of it. I think a percentage of it is that. I think a large percentage of it is they all think it's illegal.
Oh, wholesaling. Yeah, sure.
I think that's the larger percent of it.
Right.
They all think it's illegal. I was walking in offices because I have an office space in New York, in Manhattan, on Long Island, and and that was for another business that I had. When I used to walk into the office for that. I used to see all these different brokers and agents.
Alex, I thought it was illegal. I didn't even know it existed. when I first saw the settlement statement that had something called an assignment fee.
Yeah.
And my buyer, because I was knocking on doors. I'd find a deal. I would give it to my investor, and my investor would put it in, on the contract was his company's name. I put his company name in there. I go to the closing to make sure my commission's in there. His company name's not on there. Some other company name's on there to close. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And he's like, yeah, I sold that deal. And I was like, how do you sell a house you don't own? And he's like, no, I sold the contract. And I was like, what? You can't do that. What do you mean you sold it? Nobody's going to buy a contract.
And I think that's another part too, where you educated me on this, right? Where it's like, guys, slow down. Got to watch your terminology here. You're not selling a house.
Right.
It's just the truth.
That's it.
You're not selling a house. And it's very important that when we're educating people in our business that we tell them that. Because then that's when, you could bring them down to earth from thinking that you're crazy.
I mean, it's wild because they are buying a house. But they're not buying the house from us. They're buying it from the seller. They're buying the opportunity from us. What we are is we give people a pipeline of opportunities. And I'll tell you, the reason we exist is because flippers and rental portfolio owners, for the most part, stay in that lane of, hey, just find me the deals and let me take care of it. Let me put my investment dollars to work here. I don't want to go and sit down.
It took me a very long time to believe that, too.
Right. I don't want to, the flippers don't want to sit down knee to knee, belly to belly with the property owner that's having problems paying bills, or, they've smoked 1 million cigarettes in this house and they've got every pet you can imagine. They're exotic pets everywhere. Or, the house has been vacant and beat up, or there's a roof and that's leaking and has mold. We got a deal right now that the roof has been open for like 2 years and there's mold. And so we're getting a house that's worth $300,000 for $105,000, right? And so these type of things, typically the investors that have the money that want to go and invest in these properties and turn them over don't want to do. They don't want to do the marketing. They don't want to have the conversations. No. They don't want to deal with the emotions of the property owner, and that's where we come in. And that's what agents don't understand. Agents don't understand that because agents are thinking from I've got a fiduciary duty to get the most amount of money for my seller or to get the best deal for my buyer. And that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're going in as investors. We're gonna sign up this purchase agreement, and we'll close it if we need to. But I'm gonna put it out to these 25 friends of mine that buy in this area and see which one want to buy it, and then they pay me $25,000 for that.
And that's the bulk of it. And to add to piggyback on that, add on it, we're problem solvers.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just a lot of the times everybody thinks, hey, this is a house, we're going to sell it. Or the agent thinks this is a house, we're going to sell it, or we're going to buy it, whatever it may be. It's like, no, what if there's a tax lien? What if there's a code violation?
Yeah.
What if the house caught fire? What if the house needs $100K worth of worth? What if, what if all these things, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, these what ifs are what's happening.
Yeah.
This is the business. This is the reality.
I want to do an exercise here.
Let's do it.
Explain to somebody that's never heard of wholesale real estate what wholesaling real estate is.
Okay. So wholesaling real estate is the business where you take a real estate opportunity that you contract, right? And you sell that. Well, you take that real estate opportunity, you negotiate your price, and the way you negotiate your price is by looking at what's selling in the area, making sure your numbers is correct. So you're making sure that you're in a proper number for investment, whichever way you figure that out, right? There's many different formulas for figuring out an investment property, but that's what you do. You find that opportunity, then you negotiate that opportunity. After you negotiate that opportunity, you take that opportunity, then you sell it. You don't sell the home, you sell the opportunity to the end buyer. And with now, the beautiful thing about wholesaling is, and the essence of wholesaling in itself is getting something at a discounted price, right, and selling it at a higher one.
Why would somebody sell a house at a discounted price, Alex?
So you remember all the problems I just stated before? Tax liens, code violation, construction, foreclosure, probate, vacant. Now, all these things lead to money problems, right? They're not only problems that you just say with your mouth. They're problems that when you voice them, they could spit out 10,000. 10,000 could get spit out with it as well. So when these things happen and people are already going about life, like what we were talking about earlier, remember?
Yeah.
The 9 to 5. And, you know, it's okay. We all work. We get it, right? But unexpected things happen, right? We're already paying bills, this, that, and third, and boom. What, my house has a code violation? I have to get $5,000? What, we're about to get foreclosed on? We're backed up $15K? Or, oh, my house, I have my daughter is having a child, and the house we live in right now needs work, and my house up in New York is completely empty, right? But I sent my friend who's an agent over there. They told me this house isn't going to sell for nothing. You need about $150K worth of work into it. This is why people sell their houses for discount.
Great example. Yeah, and for everybody out there that's wondering, 6 to 10% of the real estate market is in distress at all times. It is. That's a 2020 U.S. Census, and if you really look at it, there is unlimited opportunities. That's upwards to 14 million houses a year at all times, and that's probably closer to 10 million. But I think we can make a good income based on finding 50 of them, 100 of them a year, 20 of them a year. You know what I mean? And so the opportunities are endless. We literally, anybody that's listening to this that hasn't driven around and noticed like rundown houses that need renovation, you're going to start seeing them now because of this podcast, right? Isn't it? When you start listening to Max Maxwell, and did you start seeing like opportunities everywhere?
Instantly.
Right.
Instantly. Because you got to understand, the way the universe works is that if you seek, you'll find.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
So if you're seeking people that are seeking certain things, they'll instill in you what you'll naturally start seeing.
I want to talk. You mentioned something about we're problem solvers, which is beautiful.
100%.
And this goes back to your very first deal.
Yes.
Where you didn't make a fortune.
No, I didn't.
But you got the proof of concept.
Yes, I did.
And so what waters did you have to navigate there?
So I want to give a shout out to somebody. This is one of my very good business partners down in Virginia. Great person. His name is Corey Vickers. I want to give a shout out to him. That's who I connected with when I first started doing business out there.
Awesome.
And he's actually from my hometown neighborhood.
So wait a second. You're not even doing this business. You're not even flipping these
Here we go.
Opportunities in your own backyard.
I didn't know I was opening a can of worms.
You're not even doing it in your backyard.
No, not at all.
You're doing it virtually.
All virtually.
So you don't have to go to the houses.
I never been to Virginia.
You don't have to go and meet with the property owners.
No.
You can just do this all over the phone.
All over the phone.
Okay. Continue with your first deal, please.
Okay. So great shout outs to him. Great brother. When I saw him do the business, because if we want me to be completely honest, it took a lot of people to motivate me to do this business. It took Max Maxwell, a couple people who in the industry was doing good as well. So I could damn sure imagine it takes a lot to motivate your friends and your family, right? So when I saw my final straw is when I saw a kid that was younger than me from my neighborhood move to Virginia because he had to go to school.
Okay.
And started doing real estate and exactly what Brent Daniels was talking about. And I was listening to the podcast in 2016. I said, that's it.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. I'm going to tell you, that's just the honest truth.
Awesome.
Right? So on that very first deal, I JV'd with this great partner, right? And from the beginning, he told me this wasn't a deal. Right? He told me from the beginning, like, and because the spread wasn't there, you know, after you get experience, you're always looking for 15 to 20K, probably 20 and over. You're probably not even looking at
Each deal.
Yep. Right? So he's like, bro, this is not a deal. Right? For me and you are here. It's not a deal. Right? So, but I'm like, nah, man, you know, it's a deal. It's my first deal, Brent. So I'm like, it's a deal. So we take it on, right? We take it on, we lock it up. Deal so bad we had to novate it, right? So we went and got a real estate agent, great real estate agent as well too. Like, and I just want to say this real quick: if you work with a real estate agent, make sure that you're working with a real estate agent that understands investment. I know you hear Brent say this all the time, but now you're hearing somebody who comes on again. I'm from New York. I come from a different background. I do the business differently. All different type of people come on this podcast, but we all say the same thing. Right? We all say the same thing. Work with real estate agents that understand investing, because all real estate agents that understand investing, they're waiting for you. They love you.
Oh, yeah. They do.
They love you.
They do.
They're waiting for you. Like they literally
It's
are.
their job. It's their livelihood. 100%.
You know, it's the way it works.
Yep.
Right? So this deal right here, oh my goodness. We had to deal with property managers. We had to deal with the seller. We had to deal with the tenants. And from the very beginning, nobody wanted to buy it, right? So what does that mean? I had to get a lot of showings scheduled. Yeah. Right? Property manager told me, what are you, a wholesaler? All right. You do all this yourself. I'm not scheduling nothing. You should have told the seller you was a wholesaler. Because property managers typically, they kind of get jealous when we get in, because they was waiting for the deal. Yeah. But because we know how to do what? TTP, talk to people. That's it. We get it before them. Right. Just from a conversation. It's that simple, right? Yeah. So I had to schedule these appointments, right? And throughout this time period that I'm setting up all these appointments, you know, I'm arguing with tenants. I'm trying to get things set up. The real estate agents calling me back saying, "Hey, I'm here. Where's your, you know, isn't the tenant supposed to be here today? Oh, I'm gonna call them. I'll get it rescheduled." I'm telling you, over 20 showings. You probably know this agent I'm talking about. You could probably ask her one day. But over 20 showings we had to do, and I scheduled every single one of them. Finish line, right? No.
Not yet.
No. Your buyer, right? He doesn't want the deal no more. Now you go through all these 20 showings. You finally get somebody who says, yes. Yeah. Now we're walking a little bit. Days are going by, right? And remember, let's keep in mind, guys, as all this going on, we only have 30 days, right? Yeah. So not only did I have
working full time at this time?
At the time, I was working. It's funny because I'll tell you exactly what I was working. I was working in Baldwin. So Baldwin, Long Island. I was doing concrete. Yeah. So the guys had just finished, and it's so funny because I knew about months before. My company had just finished running new gas mains down that block. Yeah. Right. So new gas mains was ran in. The guys just came in like 4 weeks ago to run the gas services. So I came in with the restoration crew to drop concrete on top of to restore the sidewalks. Yeah. And I'm restoring sidewalks, taking calls. Taking all these calls, really like running back to the truck. And I think that's contributes to some of the reason I'm probably not over there now.
Yeah.
You know, because I really was taking it very seriously how much I had to communicate with my real estate team and for my real estate transaction.
Yeah.
You know, so when we thought we were at the finish line, we weren't. We had to get the leases renewed. And when we thought that was going to be easy, and I had to speak to the property manager, and I had to speak to the landlord. Spoke to the property manager first because the landlord always told me, don't waste my time. Speak to them. That's why I hired them. Yeah. Spoke to them. They told me, no, because I don't like you. Yeah. Right? Go speak back to him. So I mentioned something to you earlier, and you taught me this, right? And like I also remember to mention the fact of strategies. When I say what I'm about to say, this does not mean you guys don't have to be savvy. Guys don't have to have strategies. Right. You need strategies. You have to be savvy. Even at your 9 to 5, where no matter where you work at, no matter what business you're in, if you are a business owner as well, you have to be savvy. You have to have strategies. But the best business owners and the best people who even work a 9 to 5 are the ones who have integrity, right? Mm-hmm. The ones who are able to step back, right? You know, and just have some authenticity, I should say, right? Mm-hmm. Told him, I said, hey, Mr. Seller, my lenders are not going to close on this if I don't have an extension on my leases. Now, my first deal, if anybody remembers back to the first deal, they're not talking about leases. They're not talking to tenants. They're not trying to do none of these things because they think that all these things are going to blow up the deal. Yeah. But this goes back to you, too. I'm going to give you some of your credit back. Well, you need a good mentor. You need to be listening to your podcast every day. You need to be talking to people all the time because that's what helped me understand just to ask the question. And I asked him something that I kind of had to be a little ballsy for to ask him, right? You know, and this was, would you want me to talk to the tenants myself and see if they renew the leases? And his answer was, and like, this was easier than I thought it was because his answer was simply, no problem.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The property manager?
No, the landlord.
Oh, the landlord.
The landlord who told me they'd never want to speak to me, speak to my property manager. Yeah. So when I went to speak, every time I went to speak to the property manager, I ended up having to go back to the landlord anyway because the property manager wanted the deal for themselves. Sure. You know, and I understand, but that's where you have to have the conversation with people that you want to get a home from. Yeah. Or if you want to be in this business. Sure. Go direct to them. Go direct to them. Yeah, for sure. You know, because then you could source your deal.
Listen, if you're not communicating all the time and effectively with the decision maker, you're just spinning your wheels because then it's just going through filters of, you know, whoever's, you know, helping them out, representing them, the property managers, the agents, the friends, the business partners, whatever. You need to get everybody on the same page. That's it. So you went and you got them leased up, and you made a fortune on this one. You made a huge check on your first deal, didn't you?
No. I made $2,000.
Come on, ring that thing. I'm going to ring this thing for... Yeah. Listen, here's the thing. You could have easily dropped that. You could have easily just said, you know what? I'll find another deal. I don't have to go through this. It's supposed to be easier than this. Maybe next time I'll just go after a vacant property. Maybe next time I'll go after more of a fix and flip, you know, really run down property. But you knew that it was an opportunity. You knew if it got across the finish line and you got paid, you've got proof of concept.
I wanted it to get done.
Faith to fact. We talk about it a bazillion times, and I'm sure people are just sick of hearing it on this podcast, but it's the absolute fact that when you go and cross that bridge, because when we start, we're living off of faith that we can do this. Faith that this is something that we're supposed to do. Once we cross over to fact that we can actually get paid, we can actually provide value in this specific situation. It's
miraculous.
That's when everything changes.
It's miraculous.
It's like doing a massive deal. It's like getting $50K on a deal. It breaks your brain, and then you're like, yes.
It's merely a miracle,
right?
that faith to fact. You say faith to fact,
Yeah.
but in the moment, you could be honest as my mentor, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel? It feels like a miracle.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
that just happened, right?
Yeah.
And I got a check for the first one.
Bro, you've been working since you were 14. You've been getting paid for like hourly and or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever you worked
day to
out.
day.
Sure, but it was always coming from. It was.
Time for money.
You were already getting taxed on it, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably some sort of 1099 or W-2s. And so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the amount of value that I just provided in this thing. And you probably provided more than the industry will get it back. But in that situation, you made $2,000, it was done. You closed another $25,000 deal, you closed another $20,000 deal. You're on a roll, you're building up your momentum. You've done 20 deals a total in the last year, which is just phenomenal. But it takes nothing happens without the first one.
No, nothing happens. And the second one was juicy. Just the second one was a little bit better, right?
What'd you make?
Because the second one, right, I also JV'd on that one as well, and I listened to my partner at that time, and we was able to split a $14K assignment, and I was able to make $7K on the second one. Right, and that one I pulled that one within the next 3 weeks. So even though it was $2,000, right, to take this full circle, even though it was $2,000 on my first deal, in the month I pulled in $9K in revenue. I'm basically like one of the top CEOs in America at that point, right?
Yeah.
On salary, like what people pull in month.
They might be making a little bit more, Alex.
No, way more.
Some of those CEOs,
way more.
But you feel like that.
But let's say this then.
Yeah.
You're high paying 9 to 5.
Yeah, sure.
A 9K, 10K month is some of your highest paid 9 to 5 people.
It changes your life.
So
it changes your life.
Absolutely drastic.
But it also puts you on the path to go and find more opportunities. It puts you on the path. There's like a pilot light, like inside of a water heater or inside of a fireplace or whatever it is, and it's just always going and it's always burning just a little bit of gas. But then when you crank that thing up, and it just we all have that inside of us. We all have that flame. The entrepreneurs that are listening, the people that want to build wealth through real estate, we have that pilot light and the success and the conversations and the momentum and the attention is that fuel that just, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I could make this my full-time thing. Yes. I could work for myself. I could go and cherry pick the best deals to put into my portfolio. I can buy an asset class at a discount that historically has gone up incredibly in value over the last 150 years. And
can't go against it.
And listen, only 14% of the United States land mass is populated. There's a reason for that. Because of you putting in the utilities, because of the infrastructure, because of economy, because of all that. So if you get the opportunity
to put houses on top
of
no infrastructure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And there's only going to be more people, and there's only a certain amount of space that you could put them. And that means the value of these are always going to increase. It's beautiful. Real estate is such an unbelievable investment and wealth builder and long-term smart financial move. And we get the opportunity to find all the best deals.
All the time.
Find all the best deals.
Every day.
That nobody knows about.
That's the part I like a lot. I like that part the most. Some days I feel like maybe, God, am I wrong for feeling like this? But then I go like, no. Because he tells me, he's like, it's because people don't have enough faith. They don't think that.
Right.
But you do, so it's okay. You see them every single day.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like when we currently have one in the pipeline right now, right? And one of our good business partners down there is looking at it, right? And she was, I mentioned her to you earlier, said hi, and she said, it's, this looks like a big spread here, right? And that happened as I was sitting in the office, sitting amongst you guys, And it was just like a full circle moment where I was able to say, like, I've been listening to this man and everybody in this community say for the past 7 years, we find discounted properties.
Right.
That's what we do. We source the best real estate deals.
Yep.
This is like the two great quotes. We find discounted properties. We source the best real estate deals. I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is literally what's on my laptop, written on my notebook, and in my head all at once. Mm-hmm. It's just there's no better way of doing it. It's no better way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like we're lost for words here.
Yeah.
We try to find more words to like make it sound better. It's like
yeah, that's the feeling.
That's
and
the
it's
feeling.
Beautiful, and I want everybody listening and everybody watching to have that feeling. I want everybody to go out and find that first deal, and then really just get it going and build that momentum and be around. Understand that there's no more gatekeepers for the information. There's no more gatekeepers, like you were saying. I think you called it a mirror or clouds.
Yes,
that kind of keep people from getting the information or getting the instruction they need to go out and find opportunities. Listen to me. Go find an ugly house. Go find a rundown house that needs investment. Go online, find the phone number for that owner, and call them up and ask them if they would consider an offer. You do that enough times, you will find an opportunity. You will then match up that opportunity with somebody that invests in that area, and boom, they'll pay you for that deal.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's exactly the way it goes. Can we do one more breakdown?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to give a special shout out to my brother Jay Morrow on this one.
Oh, Jay Mora. He's the best.
Oh, my
Rhino
God.
Tribe.
I love him.
Yep.
Jay, I love you. Listen, so if it wasn't for people like Jay, right, in the Rhino Tribe, when I came to the Rhino Tribe, especially I heard Jay a whole bunch of other times, and when I came to the Rhino Tribe, Jay was not somebody who you could just jump on and be like, hey, I just, like, you could see that on the Facebook and, you see that on social media, but you can't just call him and just handle him any way you would want to, right? So that's one thing that I love about anybody. I love that about men that I deal with. You can't, people can throw you anywhere. It's like, it's not good. You need to have that balance in your life, right?
Yeah.
So he's one of those people. And when I found him, that balance that he had with him and the balance that I had with myself as well created such an explosion of education, right? That he was just like, in like a split moment, he was like, you know what? The way you think and the way you are, if I tell you these things, you're gonna kill it. If I help you figure these things out, you're gonna kill it. And I go like, why are you gonna do that? And he says, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's community.
Yep.
We really want to do this to make the world a better place. I that's one of the reasons why I'm here today too, is that I just really want to say that we do this. It's not really about the money. We truly, I was in the office early with the whole team, your mom, your dad, bro. Yeah. Your mother and your dad. I'm blessed.
They're all here.
I was graced with that. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, this is life. This is love. This is the essence.
They were graced by meeting you. They love you. Yeah.
It was all around.
Yeah.
So Jay Morrow definitely tailored me up to the point where in the month of July, we closed a $25K transaction.
Yeah.
Right. And how this actually came about was it was an agent lead.
Okay.
So this was an agent.
Real estate agent.
Yeah, real estate agent inbound lead. No, I sent it out. I got it from my SMS blasting. So I have a team that's working for me in India. So on a day, as we're sitting here right now, messages are being sent back and forth. So I'm not. If that was the case, I don't feel like we would be able to run a sustainable business. So we sent out an SMS message. Agent contacted us back, had their price set up straightforward. It's crazy because if we get the chance, I could show you the very first book. I have 3 notebooks. My very first notebook, because I write down every lead in my notebook. I don't think something is real unless you write it down.
Sure.
So every lead that I have, I write it down in my notebook. And the very first lead, the man who passed away, it was his significant other who sold me the house that I just made $25K on.
Got it.
In July. And I spoke to him in 2023.
You talked to the owner? The person that passed away in 2023?
No, 2022. December of 2022.
And you had him in your notebook that whole time?
Had him in my notebook that whole time.
So how did they reach out to you when he passed?
They didn't. I follow up.
Yeah.
If you're following up in your market, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing what you say to do, you're doing your job, you're running your business, and you're following up, everything's going to come back full circle.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
So was it a
You'll be
family
fine.
member that knew you were talking to him or something?
No, I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
She didn't know. I'm telling you.
Oh. She didn't even know you were talking to this lead.
She didn't know I spoke to Benny, a long time ago.
So you texted her and she responded, and you got on the
she
phone.
Responded.
And you're like, wait a second.
She responded with. This is how it really went, right? She sent over what she wanted for the property.
Yeah.
I called her, had a beautiful conversation.
So you texted her, "Hey, would you consider an offer?" She says, "Yes, this is what I want."
My assistant texted,
Right, sure.
my assistant texted her.
Yeah.
And then I called her because I don't believe in texting back.
Do you know what list it was from?
My lists are very tailored now.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's like how you like it.
Yeah.
It's an absentee owner list.
Okay.
Absentee owner list, 35% equity, single family, multifamily. There's something else very, very, very important in there as well, but I'm just not remembering. That's how fast we're moving. But
a lot of leads.
It's very like the list is very tailored.
It's a tight list.
It's from like some of the lists that you made sure to mention to us.
To explain, so typically it's going to be a property that's at least 30 years old. They've owned it at least 7 years. Absentee means that they don't live in the property.
Yes,
this
correct.
is either a rental property or a second home or a vacant home.
Correct.
It's going to be in a specific area that's got a decent price
I go
point.
as low as when you said that, I went as low as 2 to 3 years ownership.
Awesome. Okay.
So my leads could
open it up.
So we could open it up.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, you're talking to the
I talked to her.
family member.
I talked to the seller, right?
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the seller.
Yeah.
And great conversation. And I say, can we do 95K? She says, no problem. Right? So when I went to write up the agreement, obviously I always go and check my city sites, county records, make sure everything is correct.
Right.
Like, this guy owns something I've seen before. And so be it. I purposely pulled my first notebook out my bag, went to the first page, and one of the first properties that he sent, and this guy was rough.
Yeah.
A rough old guy who was looking to offload. And it's crazy because it's still something I have to follow up on, Brent.
Yeah,
because
sure.
that same property that he wanted to offer up to me, they're offloading. I just don't have it on the contract yet.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
Yeah.
It's all still there.
He had other properties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the property that I bought from her wasn't even the property that I contacted him about. I contacted him about another property, and after I could show you everything.
Well, that's why. And listen,
it's crazy how this business works.
And this is an important moment here, because if you ask somebody about a specific property and they don't want to sell that property, I totally understand. Do you have any other properties you would consider an offer on, even a piece of land? But we have made a fortune off of that question. Because when people tell you no, great. It might be no for that property. It might be no for that property right now. But it doesn't mean that they don't have something else that they would consider an offer on.
Big time.
Yeah.
I think some of the best people that want to work with you, that's going to be their scenario.
100%.
So with this lady, as soon as that happened, I called one of my buyers. And it's funny because Jeremy gave me a tip earlier that I used in that moment before Jeremy gave it to me, and I knew it was a deal. Mm-hmm. And you know why I knew it was a deal? I sent it to Jay so Jay could dispose for me. You know what Jay told me? He said, brother, you're going to sell this house by yourself. Go make your money.
The best. He could have taken half of that.
He said, this is a deal.
Thank you.
He said he could have.
Right. Jay's the best. Shout out Jay Moore. Yep.
But he said, no, brother. I taught you. I educated you.
Yeah.
Go make your money.
That's the heart of the Rhino tribe. I'm telling you. I mean, anybody in that tribe would do it, but Jay's...
Now that needs phenomenal. The bell. The 25K.
Come on.
The 25K.
You want to do that? Yeah. Awesome.
That's what needed the bell. That one right there,
it.
and that was from the great community that you have built here.
Yeah.
And that's so much
We've
many
built
people.
it.
Yeah, and it's powerful.
You've been phenomenal in the group. You've been really helping out with a lot of people that are starting out. You've really connected with people and been real loud about JVing and helping them sell their deals. And then if anybody wants to know what you're doing, you've been an open book. It's been phenomenal.
Of
so
course.
give some advice to as we're wrapping this up. Give some advice to somebody that maybe is seeing this for the first time. Maybe they just discovered wholesaling. Maybe they do want to make that extra, income from real estate and from their own business. What advice would you give them?
Okay, I'm not gonna go too far off of what we typically say.
Yeah,
I would say choose your market, right? Choose your mentor. Stick to those people. Yeah, and put faith in God.
Love it.
It's my three
Sure.
tips right there.
Yeah,
For anybody. And I want to say it one more time. Stick to your market. Stick to your mentor. Stick with God.
love it.
You'll be fine.
I love it. How can people get a hold of you, Alex?
I love when you ask this question, right? Because you usually say, "Oh, they're gonna give out their phone number. Don't do it," right? So I'll go with giving out my Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. So my Instagram is Alex.
Well, look, by the way, I don't mind people giving out their phone number,
I do
but
it to people all the time.
Listen, you're just know that this is a proactive audience. They're gonna reach out. You know what I mean? And so if you're not ready for it, just
Yeah. So this is what I would say to do, right? My number is. Should I give my number or my email? I'll give my number because I want to see everything directly. I love connecting with people. I have no problem with that. I love leads. So my number is 516-450-7540. Now, I'll say this, right? We have a lot of things we do on a daily basis. We have a lot of people we connect with. There's been so many times I had to even contact Brent about deals. And one thing that I've always personally tried to do, and which I would request of everybody else, is just make sure you have a deal. Like, not even have a deal, just make sure you have a contract, because when I come to you, I typically try to do the same thing, like have a contract or just make sure this is like hot, scorching hot.
Yeah.
Like if it's scorching hot or it's under contract, that's when you want to make people take away from the deals that they have right now that's going to give more to our community, our families, and what we're doing in our businesses. Yeah. But if that's not the case, try to keep it minimal. And then you guys could reach out to me on Instagram. I would really love to connect with everybody on Instagram. That's really, 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 really big for me because everybody on a daily basis can't help it to be on their phones. And if there's one thing that I've always worked on was tailoring my algorithms on Facebook and Instagram, making sure I'm not following anybody or talking to anybody that's not business, financial, or real estate based, because you'll get pulled into a whirlpool for 2 hours and be like, I just watched a video of a guy cutting plants. Or something crazy, or something crazy like that. And we're human. There's all levels of distraction. That's why I love some of the books that I've learned to read from this podcast. Because you learn in those books that it happens to all of us, and just try to create some habits where it won't happen to you.
Awesome. What's your Instagram?
Instagram is @AlexSevere_AMS. Just like right here.
AMS.
On my company shirt.
Spell your last name for everybody, just so that they could find it.
My last name is Severe, like severe weather storm. So my name is Alex Severe, and the last name, the last name is Severe, just like you would spell severe weather storm. Brent loves my last name.
I love it.
And my first name is Alex, not Alexander, just Alex.
Awesome.
I got a superhero like name, but I'm a normal guy, and I love everybody.
Alex. So great to have you on here. Thank you for coming into town all the way from Long Island to Phoenix. Absolutely.
Long Island. New York.
It's inspirational. Listen, it is. I mean, listen, your family were farmers. My family, my mom's side, were farmers in Iowa, and it's interesting the work ethic, and then the opportunity for the next generation to keep building on the last generation. And you're here now doing these deals, getting in, working with and finding great real estate opportunities and working with great real estate investors and making that network. That you have 3 children. You know what I mean? And that goes. This is the legacy.
That's another part too.
Yeah.
Hey guys, even if you like, I just wanted you to know, do it for your kids.
Right. Yeah.
I know you probably say, I have so much time, I gotta do things with my kids. You know what? Someday just stuff them in the room and make them watch TV and go make some calls.
Let them watch you.
When the deal comes through, what you'll be able to get them, what you'll be able to do from, what you'll be able to teach them in the future, you'll be way more happier.
Yeah.
So just since you stated that, I wanted to make sure I throw it out there for them.
Alex, thanks for being on here.
Oh man, it was a pleasure. I'm so grateful and thankful. This community is just gonna keep growing, getting better, and we're looking for more people to be part of this.
Yeah. Wholesalinginc.com. If you're interested in joining the Rhino Tribe, go to wholesalinginc.com. Check it out. Apply for a call with us. On that call, we look for, we really break it down into 4 main parts. 1 is, what is your experience? 2 is, what is your market? 3, what is your budget? And 4, what is your schedule? And that's really what we use to craft a custom blueprint for you so that you can start taking massive imperfect action right away. So go to wholesalinginc.com. Press that apply now button, and I look forward to working with you personally. And that's it. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I will close this out as I always do, encouraging you to go talk to people. Till next time, love you guys. See ya.